Yeah. So very good afternoon, everyone. I hope the stomach is full after the good lunch. Yeah, so I'm expecting a few more other teams, peoples to step in. Yeah, so today, my basic question is, what do you believe that, what if AI is truly for everyone? Do you believe this? Yes, no? Absolutely, very good. Okay, let me put this question. In this whole forum, how many of you developers, non-developers? Oh, I see. Developers are very little, but non-developers are very. But yeah, this is something which you will learn very interestingly, how the tools like this can make you uplift because you are the domain experts in your own field. The developers come in and they bring that knowledge, using that, and they develop the solutions, right? Sorry, so I have to just jump backwards, other side. So what if creating AI solutions is just like you writing in a plain paper, right? So these are some questions which I have asked so many people, asking, what do you really wanted to do? So I was just looking at some examples, what GenAI today, as well as the low-code, no-code, are really moving this industry forward, considering the massive shift which is happening right now, and we are being colluded with informations, data, yeah? So I'll talk about two examples. Luis Pereira, who is the founder of AudioPen, many of you would have heard, or I'll give the context, has just transformed this idea in just 12 hours into an interesting app. Any of you aware of AudioPen? It's fine. So AudioPen is nothing but, it's a voice-to-text conversion tool, which is ready to share in a medium, and it is same like ChatGPT, but it has its own functionality to give you a better information which can be shared with everyone, right? Another example which I can quote is Robert Thompson. You can Google and check. So who's a 72-year-old retiree. He was able to build a low-code AI solutions in a matter of weeks' time, predicting the local weather. How that is possible, right? So with that, I strongly believe this. AI isn't just for coders. It is for anyone who has an idea and a problem to solve. Do you agree? Yeah, I believe we have to wake everyone up. Do you agree? Yes. Very nice. So today, we will see how GenAI, as a adding value to low-code, no-code, and how we democratize AI for the masses. So this is the topic I have chosen, but there is a reason to it, right? When MLDS contacted me, so there were whole number of speakers, eminent speakers, where I saw lots of content around AI, agentic AI, so many things. It's been flooded with. I thought, why not let's take a step back and understand the core of AI. Where does it, how do you bring this onto the table? Yeah. So I am Prasanna. An introduction is already being given. And I'm a strong advocate in cloud, data, analytics, and I worked in the past on products, engineering, and multiple other industries. And currently the head of data analytics at Capco, which is a Wipro company. So with that, it is always good to understand what does the industry says, right? So we just don't believe it, but just take it as a reference point. Yeah. So again, I went back, asked some questions to the people. Hey, what does it look like? Where is it you're seeing the low code, no code moving forward? So I saw Gartner has predicted by 2029, most low-code, no-code solutions will be in a mission-critical applications which you can develop. What does this mean is, again, the first slide which I just showed, you just need an idea. So which means you can get things done in no matter of time. I was talking to a friend in Microsoft where I was just asking him, how are you people able to release applications in so quicker, faster? Yeah? So they were saying we are all implementing, we are bringing the domain owners, business owners to understand they also build something. So where the citizen developers are growing exponentially and using their Power Apps, there are other tools which is bringing, they're seeing a 72% of users getting to develop in less than 3 months of a time. And I looked at some of the research papers. So recently I found Dora, I frequently follow this, where the developers have said there is a 70% of uplift in their productivity by using AI. Yep. So today the topic is about low code, no code, and how GenAI is adding a value. I'm not going to do a technical round, but rather I keep it broader, which gives you the understanding where we can add value and a takeaway where you can go back, do some research, and you come up with your own apps. So whoever the developers who are here, please excuse me, I might need to add some context. So the low code, no code is nothing but where it's a visual programming which allows you to drag and drop things and deliver solutions maybe a few weeks or a few days of a time. Yeah? And basis my past experiences where I've used such tools, adopted teams to take up some of these tools where you have to go the time to market, which is very little because you want to adapt to what markets is expanding. So low code, it allows you lots of changes, customizations, which is much more flexible than no code, where low code, no code is more simplified, or simplicity is the core of it, but less of customization. So I looked at where does GenAI is coming into picture in this. Yeah? Today there are lots of low code, no code tools are there, which is driving the AI solutions. So I looked at 5 dimensions. Consider an example where you're asking a financial analyst, hey, I need this predictive model to be developed, and he comes and tells you that, hey, I did it in 2 hours. You might be surprised. I might be surprised because I will be more interested where people come and tell me my work is done so faster. Yeah? So you just need to have an idea and a creativity to be able to solve this problem. That's what I meant by unlocking creativity for all. And I have been in the journey as a developer early in my career, and I still continue to do so, but yeah, programming has reduced dramatically, looking at the strategy side of it. So I have seen developers are now moving towards, they're riding the AI wave, right? Where you're being fumbled with lots of data, gathering not just the technical side of it, but more you are being pushed to understand the business context. That is the success of a developer today, right? So more and more developers are moving into the strategic roles, allowing the non-technical users also to come in. So your empowerment is going a lot. The GenAI in the current context, what it is doing is you have a tool where you can drag, drop, develop, but it is also making something where you can do your natural language, right? You just tell them that, hey, I need an app. For example, I could say develop an e-commerce app with a secure payment gateway. If it can develop such solutions, that's what I call it as complexity into a simplicity, right? So today these tools have enormously taking shapes, and we should ride this wave as developers to be able to conquer and deliver solutions as fast as possible depending on the business needs. So what does this mean at a scale? That is also very important, right? So I was talking about time to deliver, time to market. So that is edge at scale. So not just you just come and you just have these tools, but look at how fast it can go to the market. How does it create value? End of the day, all it matters is creating that value. And AI, I'm summarizing it as AI for everyone because all of this can happen. A developer can do this. People who don't know development, they can also do it. But we will get to see what are the other actual aspects of what you need to look at as a citizen developers. Yeah? So I had a chat with one of my friend. He was just saying that, hey, you have these tools, you have GenAI and all of this, but how do I go in terms of taking it to the company or to the clients? How do I ensure there are no barriers so that I can go as fast as possible? I'll take two examples. The one which you already see, where Microsoft has said during the visit of Satya Nadella the last month or so to India, where they have made Copilot as free. How many of you tried Copilot? So what did you try in Copilot? I didn't get you? Okay. Yeah, so what it has done to the industry is it has made people to go to an extent that you don't need to do any coding and you just go and put their content. It is going to use your GitHub to be able to do your version controlling and so on and so forth, right? I have seen some of my college students who just come in, they talk to us regularly. They were just saying, I'm using Copilot. I said, what are you using for? I'm just generating some codes, making sure my version control systems are ready, and doing so on and so forth. But the impact it has created is, they already had a code base of 150 million developers. And it is allowing them to do a 2,000 free code completions. It is not about just generating a code, it is code completions. Another example, which is in the last few weeks, which is taking a shape. What is it? I didn't get you. Probably somebody can. Which one? There you go. DeepSeek. So, what did DeepSeek do? Open source, yeah. Great. What else? Excellent. What else? Excellent. What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay, that's great to hear. So, it has given a big hit to OpenAI, right? Competition. It has proved that anything open source can add huge impact to anyone and everyone in the industry, right? So it is 10x lower the cost, 20x which is faster, 30x computationally better, so you can keep adding on, right? So you might expect such a things to come in. So the point is, today the barriers are trimming down so that everyone has an opportunity to try AI to the extent of what you feel in your day-to-day challenges you face, whether it's personal as well as it is on your professional life. Do you agree? Yeah? So some names which I have put here, meaning most of them I've used in the past, and I keep evaluating some of these things like Langflow, which is an AI solution you can do a drag and drop, so which is Data Robot is again doing the ML. Bubble you have for full stack development. RIL, does anybody know RIL? It is a BI as a code, so Gen BI. Yeah, business intelligence. Hopefully I might write something Gen AI, Gen BI, Gen CI, Gen DI. So I'm trying to ask ChatGPT that what will be my Gen ZI? What do you think? What could be a Gen ZI? Yeah, I really don't know. I have to ask ChatGPT. So, yeah, I'm done with this, so I just thought I moved the slides. Okay, sorry. So, the video which is playing on the right, what do you think about it? I mean, that is the reason I put, probably I forgot to ask. What do you think? I didn't get you? Building blocks, okay?
Makes it very fast.
Okay? Just consider all these are all like a pre-trained Lego box, right? You just don't need to code. You just tell them what is that you need. It is going to do. That is what the low-code and no-code solutions are going to bring it onto the table. So we have seen low-code, and there are no barriers to AI innovations. But it has its own challenges. We should never forget about governance side of it, because I do lots of governance and other aspects. I did talk to few people asking how to ensure scalability, sustainability, and security. I don't say the low-code, no-code solutions are not secure, but we need to understand the how and the why, right? Now we are putting all kinds of tools onto the hands of developers as well as the non-developers who are trying to support. So when you build an app, it has lots of loopholes, right? So where you can get to data breaches, data privacy issues, regulations, so many things are there. So it is very important to understand what are the security vulnerabilities during your building phase, to understand, am I considering required aspects of my security built in, so which is a security first approach, right? Am I adhering to regulations? Could be a CCPA, could be a GDPR. Long-term maintainability. So let's take a question. If you were to build an app, right, you go through several phases, but where does it end finally if you were to give your product to somebody who doesn't know how to use it? What do you do? Excellent. So you need documentation. Today, documentation is playing very, very important role because of the reason that lots of apps, and it is all designed from the perspective of the business, not from the customer point of view, right? So there are very little companies who look at how do I ensure my customer comes in, clicks a button, ensures the data, or ensures the outcome which is expected in a few clicks, right? That is not happening. So the maintainability perspective, your documentation is going to play a very, very huge role. I know everybody uses ChatGPT and so on, but there are tools which does automatically generate based on your PRDs and FRDs, etc. So the how part, what are the guardrails which you can implement, right? I know most of the modern tech stacks today comes with default guardrails. They do have tech stacks which can secure your perimeter, right? But that said, it is also important that perimeters are secured inside and outside, not just when it is coming in, it is also should be going out. And platform specific, for example, you take Microsoft or you take OutSystems or Appian, many of you would be using for the testing, right? And it's very important also to look for training for citizen developers. So the benefits I just mentioned about the security first approach, scalability, and the sustainability point of view when you have to document of all the activities what you do. I just put across how does it look like if I were to ideate from start to end in a simple 5 steps process. Identify a high priority aspect and understand what platform suits you. Today, these platforms are playing a very, but it is important depending on your industry, where do you step in. And it is very, very important to address the collaboration gaps, right? So that is why I said collaboration across teams and leverage GenAI to be able to control that workflows, content, how effortlessly you can bring that solution onto the table. And don't forget to deploy and optimize, which is very, very important. And probably I will just take a minute to show what I did in just sitting from here, right? So I went to an app. My screen is, I'm just moving out of the screen. Okay. So I had an app which I just was sitting from here and I opened. There is something called as Glide AI. I just said I need a speaker sync app. Okay, I just did it in 10 seconds. I just said I need a speaker, content, whomever who speaks. I just want to record it. After recording, I just want to transcribe it. I just did it in 10 seconds. Right? Yeah, it's like an MVP. You still have to further deep dive, which I just thought to showcase. But you can see the power of what the tools can do, right? So that is something which I just wanted to highlight here. So I know everyone is wanting to know what else can we do. So we are moving in the direction of AI-assisted development. So everything today, what we do is basis your Copilot or any other chatbots. So I looked at what kind of a business can it actually bring to the table, right? So one is, I looked at what it's from a customer experience point of view. I can use one single tool to make sure that it happens both at mobile, web, or any different devices which it requires. We can generate new business models using, I just referred about the example of Audio Pen. Just 2 hours, his idea turned into an app, generating millions of dollars. Look at from a modernization point of view, right? You can just, today, so many of them, even I do the same thing where I go and I look at what data, what does the strategy looks like, what should I look at. So all these can be automated and including the process automation, which is by default. Yeah, we all looked at what does it look like, right? So this was the question I asked almost some 20 people before I came into this session. I just sent a WhatsApp message to everyone saying, hey, there are so many tools. So people gave different random answers. I thought, let's dispel it, right? These tools are only meant for simple apps development? That's the first thing which I saw repeatedly everyone asking. The first slide when I said Gartner predicted by 2029, most of the mission critical apps will be developed by low-code, no-code tools. So that's an answer which is specifically for this. So industry is moving towards that. It's not that everything where you go and develop, you generate your boilerplate code, leave it to the AI, and you do your most strategic items. Will GenAI completely replace these tools? This was another aspect. So these are all collected data. So both are complementing each other. So GenAI is going to use your automation, generating code, debugging, so on, where low code is going to provide you that visual programming interface to be able to deliver you the results. By combining these two, you can see endless results. And most importantly, the third one was very surprising because we spoke about the governance and guardrails. Still, people have this myth that it can compromise security. Obviously, it can compromise security, but that said, we spoke about perimeter inside and outside. So most enterprises are the platforms which you might use. Consider your Microsoft, other than the new startups which just keep pumping in today, where security is still a concern, but most these tools are much secured. But that said, we have to have our own security within the organization to be able to know if as citizen developers, like people who don't have technical knowledge, when they develop an app, what are the loopholes? Is it relying on some of my IT requirements? Does it cover my governance? So on and so forth. And also people talk about, because I'm a developer, meaning I do have a doubt that whether somebody will pick my job, right? So people are talking about whether GenAI will pick up many of the jobs, so for which the answer is obviously no. So here is also the same thing where citizen developers are going to augment right? So I see developers, because I do work regularly with them, I'm giving them more priorities that to solve complex problems rather than just doing some repetitive activities, right? So I thought this should give you a much more perspective on what these tools can do for you, what it can bring a value add, and so on. And where are we moving towards? It's AI-driven UX. So I do use some of tools like Figflow. So today, time has gone. So Figflow, which is actually converting a Figma into the Jira related. It can convert as a request. And tomorrow, I would see this. Today already I'm looking at some of the apps which is converting. You just tell them that I need this is the interface, and you just give them an NLP kind of a request, it generates you the interface, right? That is how I see text is moving forward. Fusion teams, which I said, when using low code, no code, it is very, very important. The business and the developers and the IT teams are very much engaged. It requires a lots of collaboration so that business leaders can give you sense of idea what the end goal is about, and the developers can step up and solve that problem. Composable architectures. So being the low code or no code, you should be able to looking at how do you plug and play, how do you do real-time adaptations depending on market needs as it happens, not that somebody asking you for a benefit and you just provide them after 2 months or 6 months from that point of view. Yeah, GenAI, the last piece, everyone knows we are talking about ethical AI concerns. How do you address, how do you bring in PII-related information, how do you mask it, how do you ensure you be very transparent, and so on and so forth. So there is going to be a lot going to happen in this particular space. So with that, I collectively say this, the future is going to be more collaborative. AI is going to accelerate, and there is a lot more creativity which is required, and we are going to create a lot more. The future is inclusive. We need to build it together. That's what I call it as build smarter, faster, and fairer, because innovation belongs to everyone. I'd like to thank you for everyone who has joined this session. Pleasure to share this information, and happy to take up any questions.
Thank you so much, Prasanna. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we will clap, but before that, we will ask questions. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I will ask a question.
Please.
Prasanna, there's a question that I want to ask you. As you mentioned that in a very short time in the future, it's going to be mostly all low-code, no-code platforms. So with platforms and apps getting built through that, will there come a time where software developers, will they start asking themselves a question that what is even the point of training ourselves now? Like, what is the point in training, say, in the AngularJS and Node in other languages? Will they ask themselves that question as to where our future is going to lead to?
I will talk about it. So that's the myth which I dispelled, saying that the future is going to be enormous, but that is not going to take away any of your human creativity. So even today, it is still another decade to go where you put your code and it just generates a piece of information, and you just don't trust and then move on, right? It still requires, the fact is developers are going to go more strategic, they are going to uplift, they are going to go more business-centric, where the citizen developers is going to augment the developers so that your productivity gains goes higher.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Great answer there. Can we have a mic towards ma'am very quickly, please? We'll just take max 1 or 2 questions. All we have time for.
Yeah, just to add to that, at least my belief is that citizen developer is not coming soon. Why? Because citizen developer, one, they can do desktop development even now and in the coming future. The moment they say that this has to be spread even to the department, right? They lack the coding practices, they lack the optimization skills, they lack the security skills. So citizen developer cannot replace the role of a developer, right? That's one. Even if they become skilled enough through training, through upskilling, right? If they become skilled enough and are able to create apps which can be used at least across their functions, then you will have the challenge of shadow IT. So these two puzzles are yet not solved, so it's not coming soon. That's my perspective.
Completely agree with you. It is not that immediate, so all these are all what is happening in the current trends. But this will happen for sure because the orgs are moving forward. It's not me we saying. The number of researchers which is going through, but what you said is 100% right, that it's not an immediate thing, but this will happen for sure.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderfully insightful session there by Prasanna. Can we have a huge round of applause for him, please?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prasanna.